Welcome to the Easy as ABC series. My name is Doug McCutcheon. I'm a Senior Product Manager working in the Office 365 business. Today I am very pleased to be joined by Jennifer Kim. Hi Jennifer, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi Doug, my name is Jennifer Kim and I'm a director on the US Office business. I'm primarily responsible for deployment and consumption. I'm really pleased to be here today.
So Jennifer, we've heard a lot about deployment and usage just recently. Can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
Sure. So I think that partners have been doing deployment and usage actually for a long time in their businesses. I think partners that do managed services, that are provide additional services to their customers have known that this is the way for longevity within their customer base. So I think the only difference of what we're doing now is we're starting to see the greater importance of what we need to do to help partners basically do this in an easier, more turnkey fashion. So what we've done is we've tried to create a bunch of programs and ready-made resources so partners can continue to drive this further up front in the sales process.
So Jennifer, can you tell us about some of the great new assets that we're making available to partners today?
Sure. So the first thing that I'll start off with is something we call the Customer Success Center. And I think it's a great online destination which basically lets you, it kind of introduces you to the way that we think about consumption methodology at customers. So it provides you with a core set of 5 scenarios that then carry over into a couple more assets that we have available for partners. The second resource that I would highlight is something that we call FastTrack. So I think many partners have heard of this at the announcements with WPC and our customers are talking about it. But basically it's a prescribed guidance of what a partner could do with their customer in order to help them to deploy or plan their deployments. And the final thing that I would mention is something we call the Customer Learning Center. And so if you think of deployment and adoption, and as they go hand in hand, or usage as some people like to call it, it's a really easy, again, another web destination that would allow for a partner to be able to provide their customer with assets on how they get up to speed with our technologies.
So we're not just focusing on usage as a single point in time from deployment, we're actually looking at it as a way of growing the user base and making forcing adoption.
That's right. And so I think the real benefit across these, well, there are a couple of real benefits, I think, across these 3 assets or programs, if you will. I think first, we've aligned to a common methodology. So those 5 scenarios are pretty key because I think it creates a consistency for the customer journey. Yeah. And then if you look across what those 3 assets do, it kind of does exactly what you said. It's the journey of how do we get you technically to move to the technology, and then how do we get your users to actually engage and get the full value of the services.
Super. So we're going to have a look at those now.
Okay, so as mentioned, here's the Office 365 Customer Success Center. And so as you can see at the top, we have several different tabs that you can come in and click through. I'll go ahead and click really quickly on Communities. Before I leave though, you can see at the bottom that we're scrolling through the different 5 scenarios that I mentioned earlier. I'll click on Communities really quick, just so that you can see there are ways for you to get and stay engaged. The next resource that I discussed was the FastTrack Portal. I'll just quickly pull that up. And you can see that as we go through this portal, there are lots of resources that you can click into. You have a great view of your customers, the various resources available, and as I mentioned, the ability to look at the different phases of deployment, so planning or actually getting started. The final asset that I mentioned was the Learning Center, and I'll just click on that tab really quick. And you can see, as I mentioned before, really being able to figure out how you can make sure that users have the ability to do training. As I scroll through, there are several different scenarios that you could click on to get a lot more information as to how you get going with the Office 365 service.
So you've seen these really phenomenal assets that are available to you as partners today to help you drive your customers' usage and adoption and move into great managed services opportunity. I can tell you today that there are hundreds of partners utilizing these assets. Jennifer, what would you say would be the call to action for partners to do now?
I think the biggest thing would be for partners to get to know what the assets are. So if you've been able to see the examples that we've provided, I'd say get to know those very well. They're pretty turnkey. Some of those you could start using immediately today. And then I'd say, please join us in this conversation. There's the Office 365 Customer Network where you can join the conversation that we're having with lots of customers. There's also the Yammer Customer Network where you can engage specifically for Yammer.
So thank you for your time and look forward to further series on these subjects. Thank you very much.